The Exile. The massive dome of the Galactic Council chamber hummed with energy as representatives from 1,000 worlds watched Captain Maya Rodriguez stand at the central podium. The human woman looked small beneath the soaring crystalline ceiling, but her voice carried steady and clear across the vast space. "The accusations against humanity are baseless," Maya declared, her dark eyes sweeping across the assembled beings. "We have followed every protocol, honored every treaty. Our only crime is success." High Chancellor Crixon of the Zenith Empire adjusted his luminescent robes, his elongated skull pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that signaled his displeasure. The Zenith had ruled the Galactic Federation for 10,000 years, and they did not appreciate being challenged by a species that had barely mastered faster-than-light travel a century ago. "Captain Rodriguez," Crixon's melodious voice filled the chamber. "Humanity stands accused of aggressive expansion, unauthorized colonization of 17 systems, and developing military technology beyond your approved limits." Maya's jaw tightened. "We colonized uninhabited worlds, Chancellor. Dead rocks that no other species wanted. We made them bloom with life. As for our technology, we've shared every advancement with the Federation, as required by law." A ripple of murmurs ran through the gathered delegates. The Vorani ambassador's feathers rustled in what Maya recognized as amusement. The insectoid klept drummed their chitinous appendages in apparent agreement. But it didn't matter. Maya knew the verdict had been decided long before she entered this chamber. The trouble had started 5 decades ago, when humanity first encountered the Federation. Earth's scientists had cracked the secret of faster-than-light travel through a novel approach that bypassed traditional quantum tunneling. Instead of threading through subspace like other species, humans had learned to fold space itself, creating shortcuts that made their ships surprisingly fast and efficient. The Federation had welcomed humanity at first, seeing them as another young species to guide and control. But humans proved difficult to manage. They questioned ancient protocols, suggested improvements to stagnant technologies, and worst of all, they succeeded where others had failed. While established species struggled with terraforming, humans transformed barren worlds into gardens within decades. Where others saw impossible engineering challenges, humans saw puzzles to solve. Their colonies spread faster than anticipated, their population grew beyond projections, and their influence expanded in ways that made the elder species uncomfortable. "The evidence is clear," Chancellor Crixon continued, his bioluminescence shifting to patterns of finality. "Humanity has exceeded the boundaries set for developing species. You have proven yourselves a disruptive element within our harmonious Federation." Maya straightened her shoulders. She had known this was coming, but hearing the words still stung. "What is the Council's judgment?" By a vote of 847 to 153, the Galactic Council hereby declares humanity expelled from the Federation. All human colonies within Federation space must be evacuated within 1 solar cycle. Your species is forbidden from accessing Federation technology, trade routes, or territory. Any human vessel found within our borders after the deadline will be destroyed. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some delegates appeared shocked by the severity of the sentence. Others nodded in satisfaction. Maya noticed Ambassador Thekfall of the Forgotten making subtle gestures of sympathy from the observation gallery. The Forgotten were observers only, their own voting rights revoked centuries ago for similar disruptions. Maya raised her voice above the din. "The Council has spoken, and humanity will comply. But know this, you are making a mistake. We offered friendship, innovation, and progress. You chose fear and stagnation. History will judge which of us made the right choice." She turned and walked from the podium, her head held high. Behind her, Chancellor Crixon's patterns flickered with what might have been uncertainty, but it was too late for second thoughts. The evacuation of human colonies was a masterpiece of organization. Within 6 months, every human settlement in Federation space was systematically dismantled and relocated. Ships laden with equipment, supplies, and entire populations formed vast convoys heading for the galactic rim. Admiral Chen Watanabe stood on the bridge of the colony ship New Horizon, watching the last human world in Federation space disappear behind them. His executive officer, Commander James O'Brien, approached with a datapad. "That's the last of them, Admiral. 17 colonies, 63 outposts, and 14 research stations, all evacuated." Chen nodded slowly. "Any word from the scouts?" "They found something interesting in the Void Sector, sir. Uncharted space beyond the Federation's borders. No claimed systems, no patrols. It's not much, but it's a start." The Void Sector was a region of space that the Federation had declared off-limits centuries ago. Officially, it was too dangerous for navigation due to gravitational anomalies and radiation fields. Unofficially, human scientists suspected there was more to the story. As the human fleet entered the void, they discovered the truth. The sector wasn't empty or particularly dangerous. It was full of habitable worlds and rich resources, along with something else: other exiled species. The first contact came 3 weeks into their journey. A massive ship, cobbled together from dozens of different technologies, appeared on their sensors. Admiral Chen ordered all weapons powered down and opened communications. The view screen filled with the image of a being that looked like a hybrid of crystal and flesh. Its voice resonated through the bridge like wind chimes. "Humans, we have been waiting for you. I am Admiral Chen Watanabe of the United Earth Fleet. We mean you no harm. We're seeking a new home after being exiled by the Federation. I am Resonance of Stars, speaker for the Forgotten Alliance. We know of your exile. The Council fears what they cannot control. They exiled us for the same reason they banished you. We dared to think differently." Over the following days, humanity learned about the Forgotten. They were a coalition of 12 species, all exiled by the Federation over the millennia for various crimes against conformity. The crystalline singers had developed communication technology that threatened the Council's information control. The void swimmers had mastered dark energy in ways that challenged accepted physics. The neural collective had achieved a form of voluntary telepathy that frightened species obsessed with mental privacy. Each group had been branded as dangerous and cast out, their technologies banned, their contributions erased from official histories. But in exile, they had found each other and thrived. "The Council tells the galaxy that the void is dead space," explained Resonance of Stars as she guided human representatives through their hidden city on a rogue planet. "In truth, it is where real progress happens. Without their suffocating rules and limitations, we have advanced in ways they cannot imagine." Maya Rodriguez, now promoted to ambassador, walked beside the crystalline being, marveling at the impossible architecture around them. Buildings grew like living things, streets flowed like rivers of light, and the very air seemed to pulse with benign energy. "Why did you wait for us?" Maya asked. Resonance of Stars emitted a sound like gentle laughter. "Because humans are special. Every species here was exiled for a single transgression, a specific ability that threatened the Council. But you were exiled for being yourselves. Your very nature is innovation. You see problems where others see impossibilities. You find solutions where others accept limitations. The alliance that formed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Humans brought their adaptability and drive. The crystalline singers provided communication networks that spanned light years instantaneously. The void swimmers shared their mastery of dark energy propulsion. The neural collective offered their skills in biological enhancement and mental augmentation. Within months, the first joint colony was established on a world that the Federation had declared uninhabitable. Human terraforming technology, enhanced by forgotten innovations, transformed it into a paradise in record time. They named it Haven, and it became the capital of what would soon be known as the Free Worlds Coalition. As news of humanity's exile spread through the Federation, something unexpected happened. Other species began to question the Council's decisions. Younger races, tired of being held back by ancient restrictions, started to look toward the void with curiosity rather than fear. The Zenith grew worried. Chancellor Crixon convened emergency sessions, demanding increased border patrols and stricter controls on information. But it was too late. The seed of doubt had been planted. In the depths of the void sector, humanity and their new allies continued to build. They developed technologies that the Federation claimed were impossible. They established trade networks that operated outside Council control. They created a society based on merit and innovation rather than age and tradition. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of Haven's orbital station, watching ships from dozens of species dock at the expanding facility. Many were refugees from the Federation, seeking the freedom to explore their full potential. "We've come far in just 1 year," Maya Rodriguez said, joining him at the viewport. Chen nodded. "The Federation thought they were punishing us. Instead, they set us free. Free to become what we were meant to be," Maya agreed. "But this is just the beginning. The Council won't ignore us forever." "Let them come," Chen replied, his voice firm with conviction. "They'll find we're not the same species they exiled. We've grown, we've evolved, and we're no longer alone." As if in response to his words, a new ship appeared on the edge of the system. Its design was unfamiliar, its configuration unlike anything in their databases. The communication system chimed, and a new voice filled the air, another species seeking refuge from the Federation's oppressive rule. Maya smiled. "I'll handle first contact. After all, we were all strangers here once." The age of the free worlds had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Rising. 10 years had passed since humanity's exile, and the void sector had transformed into something the Galactic Federation never anticipated. Where once there was supposedly empty, dangerous space, now thrived a network of worlds that pulsed with life and innovation. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in her laboratory on Haven, adjusting the quantum field harmonizer one final time. Around her, scientists from 15 different species worked in perfect synchronization, their diverse perspectives combining to solve problems that had stumped the Federation for millennia. "Initiate the fold sequence," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were attempting. The space before them shimmered, reality bending in ways that challenged conventional physics. Then, with a sound like distant thunder, a portal opened. Not a standard subspace tunnel or quantum bridge, but something entirely new. A stable wormhole that could be maintained indefinitely with minimal energy input. "It works," whispered Zephin, her void swimmer colleague, his dark energy sensors confirming what they all could see. "We've created a permanent gateway." Within months, a network of these gateways connected every world in the Free Coalition. Travel that once took weeks now happened in minutes. Trade flourished, cultures mingled, and scientific advancement accelerated at an unprecedented rate. The Federation watched with growing alarm. Chancellor Crixon, his bioluminescence now permanently tinged with patterns of anxiety, convened yet another emergency session of the High Council. "They mock our authority," he declared to the assembled delegates. "These exiles, these outcasts, they develop technologies we deemed impossible. They attract more defectors every day. This cannot continue." Ambassador Galtar of the Dominion world stood to speak. "Perhaps, Chancellor, the fault lies not with the exiles but with our own rigid thinking. The humans and their allies innovate because they are free to do so. We stagnate because we fear change." Silence. Crixon's patterns flared. "You speak dangerous thoughts, Ambassador." But the damage was done. Veltar's words echoed what many had been thinking, but were afraid to voice. The Federation's control was slipping, and everyone knew it. The Council's response was predictable. A massive fleet assembled at the border of the void sector. Their stated mission was to contain the exile threat, but everyone understood the real intention. The Federation would attempt to crush the Free Coalition before their influence spread further. Admiral Chen Watanabe, now Fleet Commander of the Coalition Defense Force, studied the tactical displays aboard the dreadnought Defiance. The name was fitting. The ship itself was a testament to what free collaboration could achieve. Human ingenuity had provided the adaptive armor systems. Crystalline singers had created the communication arrays that allowed instant coordination across light years, and void swimmer technology powered engines that could literally surf gravitational waves. How many ships? Chen asked his tactical officer. 3,000 Federation vessels, sir. Standard formations, standard tactics. The officer, a young human named Lisa Park, couldn't hide her smile. They're still using the same strategies they've employed for 5,000 years. Chen nodded. The Federation's greatest weakness was their inability to adapt. They had superior numbers but inferior flexibility. The Coalition had spent 10 years preparing for this moment, developing counters to every known Federation tactic. The battle began at the Crimson Nebula, a swirling mass of ionized gases that marked the unofficial border between Federation space and the void. Chancellor Crixon himself commanded the Federation fleet, determined to crush the upstarts personally. Advance in standard formation Delta, Crixon ordered. Overwhelmed them with superior firepower. But as the Federation fleet entered the nebula, they found their standard tactics useless. Coalition ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, using the nebula's interference patterns to mask their movements. Human commanders led lightning strikes, hitting critical targets and vanishing before return fire could find them. Void swimmer vessels rode gravitational currents the Federation sensors couldn't even detect. Crystalline Singer communication networks coordinated movements across the entire battlefield instantaneously, while Federation forces struggled with light speed delays. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Federation fleet was in retreat, having lost a third of their ships without destroying a single Coalition vessel. It wasn't just a military defeat, it was a philosophical one. The galaxy watched as the superior Federation forces were outmaneuvered by primitive exiles. News of the battle spread faster than the Federation could control. On worlds throughout Council space, populations that had accepted Federation rule for millennia began to question everything. If the exiles could innovate so dramatically in just 10 years, what else might be possible without the Council's restrictions? On Haven, Maya Rodriguez, now president of the Coalition Council, met with representatives from 23 Federation worlds that had secretly requested dialogue. The conference room was filled with species that, just months ago, would never have considered defying the Council. We offer no conquest, Maya addressed the gathering. We seek no empire. The Coalition exists to provide what the Federation denies: the freedom to grow, to explore, to become what you're meant to be. Ambassador Thren of the Altarian systems spoke first. The Federation promises stability, but delivers stagnation. Your Coalition offers uncertainty, but with it comes possibility. My people choose possibility. One by one, worlds began to declare independence from the Federation, not through violence or revolution, but through simple choice. They saw what freedom had accomplished in the void and wanted it for themselves. Chancellor Crixon grew desperate. In a final gambit, he authorized the use of the Federation's most closely guarded secret, the Omega Protocol. Ancient weapons from a bygone era, capable of destabilizing stars themselves. The weapons were aimed at Haven. Intelligence networks, enhanced by neural collective telepaths who had learned to intercept subspace communications, discovered the plan with hours to spare. Admiral Chen prepared for evacuation, but Elena Vasquez had a different idea. We don't run, she declared to the emergency session. We show them there's another way. Using their portal technology, Coalition scientists opened a wormhole directly in front of the Omega weapons charging array. But instead of using it for attack or escape, they did something unprecedented. They redirected the weapon's energy into a dying star in an uninhabited system, reigniting it and creating a new source of light and life. The imagery was broadcast across the galaxy. The Federation's weapon of destruction transformed into an instrument of creation. The symbolism was impossible to ignore. On the Federation capital world, Citizens watched in amazement as their leadership's ultimate threat was turned into a gift to the universe. Protests began in the streets. Delegates in the council chamber demanded answers. Chancellor Crixon stood at his podium, his bioluminescence flickering with patterns no zenith had displayed in thousands of years. Uncertainty, fear, and finally, resignation. The Council recognizes the coalition of free worlds as a legitimate galactic government. He announced, his melodious voice heavy with defeat. The borders are open. The exile is ended. But Maya Rodriguez, appearing via quantum communication before the entire galaxy, shook her head. We thank the Council for their recognition, but we need no validation from those who exiled us. The Coalition will remain independent, a place where any being can reach their full potential without arbitrary limitations. She paused, then added with a slight smile, however, we welcome peaceful relations and free trade with all worlds, including those of the Federation. The galaxy is large enough for different philosophies to coexist. In the years that followed, the galaxy transformed. Some worlds remained with the Federation, valuing its stability and ancient traditions. Others joined the coalition, embracing innovation and freedom. Still others chose independence, finding their own path between the two philosophies. The Zenith stepped down from their role as permanent council leaders, recognizing that their time of unquestioned authority had passed. A new council formed with rotating leadership, including representatives from both Federation and Coalition worlds. Admiral Chen retired to a small colony on the edge of explored space, where human and alien children played together in streets designed by architects from a dozen different worlds. He often sat in the evenings, watching the stars and remembering the day humanity was exiled. You know, his granddaughter said one evening as she sat beside him, my teacher says the exile was the best thing that ever happened to humanity. Chen smiled, pulling the child close. Your teacher is right. Sometimes you have to lose everything to discover who you really are. The Federation thought they were punishing us, but they gave us the greatest gift possible, the freedom to choose our own destiny. Above them, the stars shone with infinite possibility. Ships from 100 worlds crossed the sky, their various faster-than-light drives creating a light show that would have been impossible under the old restrictions. Somewhere among those points of light, new worlds were being discovered, new alliances formed, new futures being written. The age of enforced conformity was over. The age of infinite possibility had begun. And in the great archives of galactic history, scholars would note that it all started the day humanity was banished by the Galactic Council and refused to accept their limitations. The exiles had become the architects of a new galactic order, not through conquest or domination, but through the simple act of showing the universe what was possible when beings were free to reach for the stars on their own terms. The Federation had created their greatest rival by trying to eliminate a threat that existed only in their fears. In doing so, they had inadvertently given birth to something far more powerful than any empire, an idea whose time had come. Freedom, once tasted, could never be forgotten. And humanity, along with their coalition of fellow dreamers, had ensured that the galaxy would never go back to the way things were. The stars belonged to everyone now, and the journey had just begun.